Today is Wednesday, December the 23rd. I am your host, Casey Phoenix, and this is my daily thought. Okay, and just a heads up on the daily thought, which I mentioned before. I had to take a moment to breathe, air in my chest. I mentioned before yesterday that I'm doing my big reveal on my cards this weekend. So I just need to reiterate that once I start my readings in the future, my daily thoughts may not be every single day, Monday through Friday. I will do my best. I'm thinking about possibly seeing if I can record two shows or two episodes where I do the daily thought and then do another episode where I do the readings too, for when that time comes around, because I'm sort of just playing with things right now in my head, trying to get an idea of how I want to do it, on whether I want to do monthlies and just do monthlies and that's it, or if I want to do the yearly, which I'm very tempted to do the yearly, and then do the monthlies as well, and then possibly do every 2 weeks, or maybe some love readings and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm still playing with the how I plan on adding this supplement to the Keeping It Real with KC brand, I guess you could say. So I'm just giving you guys another heads up on that, who listens to the podcast and who watch the show, so you know. That's something I'm still trying to figure out. But it is coming. So when it does happen, don't be shocked like, oh my God, what did KC do? It's coming. I just have to figure out how I will organize it and incorporate it into the overall show itself, the overall brand itself. So yeah, today's been chill. Today, for the most part. I mean, some things have been going on, but I don't really want to go into that because I don't want to dwell on the negative. As for my daily thought, I need to get to that because I got my chicken going this time, which yesterday I had turkey. I made turkey and I have this awesome barbecue sauce. I think it's called, I forgot what it's called. I'm trying to see over there, but something's covering it up in front of it where I'm looking in front of in my kitchen. But it doesn't have any, it's unsweetened barbecue sauce. And it's actually very good. It's got a nice little spicy taste to it. And I got it from Whole Foods. Speaking of which, I need to order something from there this weekend too. I need to get some more bread. But yeah, I had ground turkey yesterday and that was quite tasty. And now I'm back to the chicken again. So that's what I'm doing. And I need to get to my daily thought because I'm babbling now. Okay, let me get to my daily thought. I was thinking this morning, this is how this daily thought came about. I was thinking about a relationship that I had with, or that I have, because I still deal with family members. So that I have with the family member. And I just thought about how the relationship has changed over the years. And part of the reason that the relationship changed, and let me be clear on this, this isn't a blame episode. I'm not putting blame on someone. So this isn't, oh, woe is me, let me blame this person. That's not it. I'm doing an analytic breakdown of what was and what is the current. What was the current, what is the current. I'm just doing a breakdown is what I'm doing. So I need to make that clear. Just in case, I mean, for those who listen to the podcast or watch the show, I'm adding as much context as possible because should any of my relatives ever see any of my shows, because I don't tell my family about my shows. None of my family knows that I have two podcasts, and they don't know anything. Because one thing I've learned over the years, and this could be a daily thought within itself, don't always tell your family everything you're doing. Just let them find out. Because if you tell them, oh, well, I plan on doing this, I plan on doing that, and then it doesn't work out, then you might have to hear them say, oh, well, you should have done it this way, because they want to add their little 2 cents and everything else. You know, no one really wants to hear about that. Or they may not say anything, but then it's just kind of like, eh. So that's the other part. And also, it's just good for a surprise where if they find out, oh, okay, well, he's been doing a podcast, he's been doing a show. I I don't think I even told some of my relatives that I was on TV until afterwards. And I don't even think I told my mother some of the shows I was on until years later. And I was like, hey, if you look on the show, you might find me or whatever. And it was so funny because I never said anything. I was on this one show that was on Logo. It was called Noah's Ark. And when I worked at my old job, no one knew that I did background work before I came to work at a regular job because I was on the West Coast here in Los Angeles. Then I moved back to the East Coast and I was in Georgia. And I wasn't out saying like, oh, well, I was on set. I met this person. I worked with The Rock. I worked with this. Whatever. So if you've been following my podcast and watching the episodes, you already know how I feel on that. It's not that serious. So one of my coworkers, she came up to me. She's like, were you on Noah's Ark? I was like, yeah. She's like, I thought that looked like you. So yeah, it was kind of funny, but that's how I prefer to treat family now, where I would just rather them come up to me. Well, they can't come up to me right now because yeah, but I would rather them just call and say, hey, did I see or did I listen to whatever? That's the approach, but I digress. On to the daily thought. So yeah, my family doesn't know. But should they ever come across my show, I want it to be clear and add as much context as possible so it doesn't seem like I'm singling them out or a specific person out unless it's for a certain situation. Like with one of my cousins, the one that lied on me. Yeah, I'm singling her out. And if she ever watches this, it is what it is. And if you haven't listened to that episode, I forgot which one it was. It was probably the trust episode or something that had something to do with telling lies. Or it might have been all relationships are subject to audit. It might have been that episode. I forgot which one it was. But yeah, I don't care about her. But I digress. So what I'm saying is this isn't an attack an individual type episode. This is just an analyze and breakdown type episode. I think about the relationship I had with one of my relatives. And I think about what the relationship is now. And I'm not really one of those shoulda, coulda, woulda type people. I mean, yeah, you can reflect and be like, all right, well, if this decision was made differently, if this was done differently and whatever. It's just sometimes you do ask yourself, how did it get here? And when I thought about that individual, I was like, wow, we were so close. We were pretty much inseparable. And then something changed based off of the decision that that individual made. And I'm not saying whether the decision was good, bad, or indifferent, because the decision that they made, it was their choice. They made the decision at the time that they felt was right for them. Where I look at things is when a decision that was made in the past creates a ripple effect on the relationship going into the future. And the individual that made the decision expects the same type of relationship before the decision was made. Now, I believe in forgiveness. People already know how I feel about apologies. If you don't know, check out my episode, The Reason I Rarely Apologize. Short version, if apologies fixed everything, we wouldn't need laws or policemen. Point blank. It's that simple. But if someone wants to apologize, I'll accept it and be like, okay, fine, if that makes you feel better. And it's whatever. I pull it together and I move on. And hopefully they do the same. But before whatever decision was made happened, the status of that relationship will always be different from the status of the relationship in the future. Because the decision that was made changed the relationship. And again, this isn't a blame game type thing. This isn't a blame game type thing. This is a don't expect things to remain the same when a decision was made that altered stuff. And don't expect the person who was affected by the decision to automatically convert to what the relationship originally was, is what I'm saying. Because that person had nothing to do with your choice. Just like for me in my situation, the person who made the choice to react or to do what they did, I have nothing to do or had nothing to do with that person's choice. Or right now, if something happens, I have nothing to do with the person's choice because it is their choice. There is this thing called free will. So how you react to a situation, I don't have anything to do with that. Now, could I have said something or could I have acted a certain way that might have incited a reaction? That's a possibility. Regardless, you still can't say, oh, well, because I received this information, that's why I reacted this way. Or because this person said this, that's why I reacted this way. And then expect the relationship to go back the same. It's almost like when some people say, if you want the truth out of somebody, talk to them when they're angry or talk to them when they're drunk, is what they say. And it's interesting because once something is said, it can't be unsaid. That's a bell that can't be unrung. No matter how many apologies come down the pipe, how many, please forgive me, gifts, whatever you want to do, you can't unsay what's been said. And forgiveness can be given. The person who may be quote unquote offended or harmed, I guess you could say, in the situation, they can say, okay, it's whatever. But you can't automatically expect that person to treat you the way they treated you before everything that happened, as if it never happened. Because it's already been done, it's already been said. It's almost like with reconciliation in relationships, when somebody cheats. You're going back in the relationship, and the person who cheated, they're expecting their other half to treat them the exact same way before the cheating occurred. And it's like, wait a second. Things are different now. And you can't be demanding of me to retroactively go back to what the relationship once was due to the choice that you made. Because you have to remember, I had nothing to do with your choice. I have nothing to do with your choice. Your choice is your choice. That's why it's your choice. You have free will. And that's on all sides. I'm not talking about just me and the relative that I'm talking about right now. That relative made their choice during that situation. And just like me, I'll give you an example. When I talked about one person that I was really, really cool with, I had known her for years. And I probably mentioned her during the trust episode as well. And her and I fell out because I felt she wasn't being honest with me. Because I'm real big on honesty, on truth. Like, tell me the truth. I don't care how bad it is. I don't care what it is. I'd rather you tell me the truth than lie to me or lie by omission. So that was my thing. But I made the choice to walk away from the friendship. She had sent me a letter saying that, hey, let's go ahead and salvage this friendship. Let's go ahead and work this out. Because we've been friends for, I think it was, 6 years by that time, give or take. And I made the choice to walk away. Now, if I ran into her on the street in Los Angeles one day and she's like, hey, let's catch up. Let's talk again and yada, 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 and all that stuff. I can't go into the new relationship expecting her to treat me the way I was treated before I chose to walk away from the friendship, and vice versa. She can't expect me to treat her the same after I felt like she was withholding information from me and not being direct with me. But I have nothing to do with her choice because she made that choice to not be direct and withhold information. Just like she has nothing to do with my choice because I made that choice to walk away because I have free will. I could have decided, you know what, let's go ahead and work this out. Let's do that. But I decided to walk away. So neither one of us can go into a new friendship expecting it to be exactly like it was. In addition to that, so many years have passed. It's been, 2000, we fell out in 2011. We're in 2020. So yeah, it's been almost a decade since we've talked. And you add that in along with it. Do you know how much stuff happens in a decade? Hell, do you know how much stuff happens in a year? So many things have happened that have shaped our lives where the relationship that once was, it's the people that we are now, we may not even be able to mesh the way that we meshed before everything happened. Because over a 10-year period, our personalities have been shaped, or almost a 10-year period. Our personalities have been shaped through experiences and everything else. But again, my choice has nothing to do with her, and her choice has nothing to do with me. And that's what I'm talking about. And this is more along the lines of think before you act. 2, because everyone has a path. Because that person, that relative that I'm talking about, made that decision, it sent the relationship that we had down a different path. But again, that person cannot expect, it's wrong to expect for there to be, for this current relationship to be as good, as strong, or as whatever, or identical to the relationship previous to them making that decision. And again, their choice has nothing to do with me because it was their choice to make. I couldn't make the choice for them. Your choice has nothing to do with me. And my choice has nothing to do with you. And when we make choices, we can't expect things to be a certain way after our choices have altered how things originally were. And that's what I'm talking about here. And you should never feel like you should have to go above and beyond. I'm not saying be, rude or whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you need to, what's the words? Universe, can I get some backup here? What are the words? Okay, that's it. Thank you. Remain open. However, you don't have to go above and beyond. Always remain open to see. And maybe you can build an even better relationship prior to the one that was before the choice was made. That's a possibility. But for the individual who made the choice that changed the structure of the relationship, expecting it to be exactly like it was, that's more than likely not going to happen. The choice has been made. And that choice has nothing to do with me because you made that choice. I didn't make that choice. You made it. And if I make the choice, then again, that has nothing to do with you. I made the choice. I can't come in expecting this, and that when I'm the one who made the choice that changed the structure of the relationship, regardless of what type of relationship it is, whether it's family relationship, whether it's work relationship, whether it's marriage, romantic, whatever. Pick your poison, I have nothing to do with your choice. That's why a lot of people, and when I say a lot, all, including myself, should think before acting. Because after you act, after you speak, after you do something, after you make that choice, that's it. That is going to affect the timeline going forward. And that's my daily thought. So yeah, I got lemon water. I meant to make my tea earlier. I didn't get around to it because I got sidetracked on some other things. But yeah, so that's all I have. Thank you to everyone who's been supporting the show. I really, really, really appreciate it. Who's been listening to the podcast. Speaking of which, KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform, available on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all that stuff. If you're watching on YouTube or Daily Motion, don't forget to hit the subscribe button followed by the notification bell. You can follow on Twitter, KIRWKC, on Instagram, KIRWKC, on Facebook.com/KIRWKC. And also, I need to work on, I'll tell you after I do it. I'll tell you after I do it. I'm going to do that right now. You'll find out tomorrow, is what I'll do. Oh, goodness. I'm a little bit silly right now. Don't pay me any attention. Anyways, thank you again for the support, for the listens. If you have been liking the show, listening to the show, subscribing to the show, whatever you've been doing that's been supporting Keeping It Real with KC, I appreciate it more than you will ever know. Until next time, be blessed.